the super speedway.
I'm fucking blown up or something. You have got to be kidding me. Oh my god. Sorry, fellas. It'll go our way eventually, I hope. Appreciate the fast car. I think I got a tire down. Such an asshole. Had to make some fucking light of my fuck up, so great weekend. Good job, boys. Thank you. Let's keep doing this. Yeah, thank you. Cover checkered flag right here. Hell yeah, baby! Let's go! Fuck yeah, guys! Holy shit! Fucking never give up, guys! Let's go!
Welcome to episode 354 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, how's it going tonight?
Oh, just dandy, sir. Just dandy. I had a whole weekend with no kids in the house.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you remember what that's like, but let me tell you, I feel rejuvenated.
Bet.
I'm like ready to go for like the next 2 months before I crash and burn again. So
Nice.
you've got me at my peak form right now, ready to go.
Awesome. Well, good. Good.
Yeah. Although they just got home, so I'm already starting to drain down. So other than that, good to go. How about you, sir?
I was not kid-free this weekend, but I was busy. So, yeah, doing good. Doing good. I'm knock on wood. I'm healthy right now. I'm over all the colds and all that crap. So
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So busy weekend, but I did get the cup race in. She got all 3 races in this weekend. I will admit that I skipped a large part of the long green flag run at the end of the Xfinity race, where it looked like Kyle Larson was going to run away with it. But other than that, I did watch. I got the cup race in, got my fill of that, and managed to squeeze it all in.
I could tell you were a little delayed because I put a couple messages out and I didn't get
Yeah.
responses. So I said, he's
I
either hockeying or
appreciate you
something.
doing the alert and not spoiling anything when you did the alert.
I never will spoil.
Because I saw it pop up and it's
yeah.
like, oh, damn it, he better not have posted something about the race because I'm already reading it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
No, I had a Spirit game Sunday night, so yeah, I was out there until I got home about I think 9 o'clock and was got the cup race on. So yeah,
Nice, good.
yeah.
There was people saying that was not an enjoyable event through the first couple of stages, and I beg to differ. That's just Homestead just delivers consistently.
Here's the thing.
It's the best.
If that race happened at Richmond or Bristol, there would be a reason to bitch. But it happened at Homestead. It happened on a 1.5 mile track, and Homestead is just so good that even a pure race is still a good race at Homestead. Hell, even a runaway, because every lap, James, people don't understand how difficult it is. I don't understand how difficult it is, and I'm amazed by it, but they don't understand how difficult it is to run as close to the wall as these guys do.
Which I don't understand. It seems like the most impossible thing in the world.
I could watch a car go around there just by itself, just running like that, like all day long. I mean, I shared a video with you earlier today that it's NASCAR's camera on the corner on the top of the wall, just watching the cars come by, and I could just live that. When I went to Chicagoland the first time, I stood down in turn 1 and on the bottom of the track and watched them do that. And they weren't as close there as they are at Homestead. And it just fascinated me. I could not get enough of it. Darlington watching them do it, but Darlington, they hit it a lot more than they do at Homestead. It fascinates me. And the coming and going, the tires wearing out, the different strategies. I'm sorry, I'll sit here and cheer for chaos and wrecks and cautions all day long, most weekends. But
Yeah.
this sorry guys.
Well,
even without crashes, Homestead is a great race.
Well, this is what I like. This
Yeah.
is the kind of race I like. It's just a little bit chaotic enough, but it's, you had your comers and goers, but you had the fastest guys up front all day.
Yeah.
You had one engine failure, which is still strange.
Yeah, second one
but-
this year.
I know, second one in a row.
Right.
But you had guys that were consistently fast, always up front, and then it came down to the last 25, 30 laps. You had 4 cars, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, how's Larson going to pull this thing off?
Yep.
And he just kept wearing out that right rear, you know,
Yeah.
and to the point where there's basically a hole above the tire,
Right.
which I thought was just incredible. But yeah, Larson just kind of wore everybody down, and all of a sudden Bowman makes one mistake, and there you go, race over. I mean, I don't know how Larson always makes it more exciting than, you know, he turns a B+ into an A+ just because of the way he wins sometimes.
Well,
But
let's
that was great.
change this up tonight on how we do this, James, because really,
Let's go.
this is the Kyle Larson weekend here at Homestead. He didn't get the sweep, but he came close. But let's, instead of breaking down each of these races separately, we let's talk about them all at the same time, because really it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same discussion all the way through. The funny thing is, and this was pointed out, I forget which podcast I listened to. I think it was DBC. The one race that Larson dominated is the one he didn't win.
Right.
You know, he wasn't the best car in the other 2 races.
Right.
Obviously, Blaney had the best car on Sunday and blew up. You know, Corey Haim was definitely lights out better in the Truck Series race, but the truck kept shutting off.
And he spun out.
Yeah.
Larson spun out, did a 360.
But he wins those 2, and short of Sam Mayer running up his butt on the restart, which I say Sam Mayer, but I would argue that was Kyle Larson's fault on Saturday. Kyle Larson cost himself the race on Saturday. But either way,
I think it was a combination of both.
Larson
That's fine.
Larson waited too long to go. You can't give
he did.
You can't give Sam Mayer the opportunity to bump you. You got to
especially
go.
when you have the fastest car out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't disagree with
Exactly.
you. I don't disagree.
Now, not that Sam Mayer's not at any fault. He is, but Larson waited too long to
He
go.
said he was too, which is, you know, he took blame for it.
Yeah, but if Larson would have went early, he'd have been fine and he'd have won that race. But either way, dominated that race, had a fast car in both the other 2 races, but was able to manage that track, man. It's Kyle Larson Motor Speedway.
One of the hardest tracks in the sport.
It is.
Yep.
And Dale Jr. said on his podcast today, he talked about how he used to run the wall and he was the guy. Like he would go to Chicagoland and run the wall and everybody would be like,
Yeah,
you gotta go higher.
I talked to you about this earlier this week.
And Larson has made it go higher than that. Did you listen to the Dale Jr. download at all this?
I haven't listened to the download yet. It didn't come to my feed until.
So I started watching it
a little bit ago.
And today, before we started recording, and then I shut it off and I caught a clip on TikTok and he was talking about Chicagoland and go listen to Dale Jr.'s podcast. We will always encourage you to listen to Dirty Mo stuff. But he said that Chicago, when you go into turn 1, the wall kind of juts out to the right before it goes into the turn. So he said it goes about like a half a car length to the right. And when Junior used to race at Chicagoland, he would go in there and he'd just cut that off and then meet back up to the wall in turn 1. He said then he was following Larson, you know, a few years down the road, and Larson would go into that turn and he would turn right and hug that wall all the way around. And he said that would gain him speed in the center of the corner. And he's just talking about how, you know, Junior was the guy. Junior was the one that ran up wide, and Larson made it that much further. Yep. And now it's so much tougher. And they were talking about, Jamie McMurray was talking about it on DBC, that if it wasn't for Kyle Larson Saturday in the Xfinity race, those guys wouldn't have had to run the wall.
Right.
Because that track was fine below the wall. They were running fine down there, but Larson was so fast up top, he forces everybody to run up there because you have to run up there to beat him.
Well, and you know, it has an effect on the Cup race as well, because you have guys who are not as good at it.
Yep.
Running the wall, and all of a sudden the lead cars start to bunch up because you have like Bubba Wallace up there, and Bubba's does fine. He's good at Homestead. He's absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
But he can't ride the wall like Larson does.
Well, look at Alex Bowman.
And
Alex Bowman cost him the race.
Yeah, and Reddick can't ride the wall like that. And Byron does a decent job of it, but all of a sudden you've got 4 cars under a blanket.
Yep.
And Larson's just kind of coming and picking his way through. Now, if Bowman keeps it clean, Larson probably still gets to him at some point.
So. I think he still would have won that race.
Probably, but still, the fact that I won't use the language I used on Sunday, but he saw Larson. he saw he saw Larson in his rearview mirror, and that completely spooked him.
Yeah. Puckered
no
up,
doubt
man.
about it.
Puckered up.
Yep, puckered up.
I'll tell you know what it is it's the entry. It's all about the entry. There's nobody that can enter the corners as fast as Larson does, as close to the wall as he does.
Right.
Everybody else has to lift. Everybody else loses speed at the start of the turn, and he just doesn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, just James, this track. Let me just praise this track once again. I argued last year that Darlington is the best track on the circuit. Homestead's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Because the way that they can dive in and do the slide job, the moves that they're making. By the way, Kyle Larson perfected the slide job at Homestead this weekend. He was one of the few that was able to do it and hold off the charge from the slingshot back around. It's just, man, this track is so damn good.
Right.
So good.
Right.
And hopefully next year we're racing for the championship there again.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, rumors flying around, but nothing confirmed yet. So.
But the stands weren't full. Why are the stands not full at that place? I don't know.
There's a lot.
I know
that goes on.
It's Miami. It's in a
That's
bad
why you
spot.
got him. If you make it the championship, it'll fill.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is we've said before, Phoenix sells out in the spring. So
they just had a race there 6 months ago.
Yeah, that too.
That's part of it, I
But
think.
Phoenix sells out without the championship race. So let's let Phoenix sell out on its own, and let's sell Homestead out because it's the championship race.
Yeah, we can go to Phoenix just once a year, and
we can do it
we
twice.
can go to Homestead we can go to Homestead twice if we want to.
No, I think that's what makes Homestead so good is that it's only once a year too.
Oh, and that's fine too. Yeah, I mean these tracks are better when you only do them once.
Yeah, and Homestead's really better because we only do it once because it just
we've only ever
done
it
more.
Once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, this year was almost hurt it because the races were so close together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, the first part of the race was not. It wasn't an exciting race, but I think we've gotten, again, online people they get too caught up in the excitement of the Cup Series versus kind of pure racing, which Homestead lets you have a little bit of a mix of both, which is great. Get a little bit of excitement with your brilliant driving.
Yeah.
I mean, just on the cushion up high, and it's a game changer, man. I mean, Eric, I remember, very vividly. I mean, my favorite race of all time is 2011 Homestead, and they were not doing that back then.
No.
Well,
that's just
also
not the way you couldn't brush the wall back then. You brushed the wall, your day was over.
Right, and those cars just they just didn't do it like that.
Back then, when you ran the wall, you did it last 20 laps.
Right.
You couldn't do it the whole race.
A newer phenomenon, and two, we got to give Goodyear a shout here again, because the tires that they keep bringing to these tracks, I really feel like they've dialed them in. I mean, you look at Larson's car at the end of the race. Now, yeah, the right side's scraped up. He had an incident on pit road. That part of the car is scraped up. But what I've been noticing, and I've noticed this more in every race, is something we used to have in the 90s, Eric, is when these cars would finish races, there would be a ton of tire debris speckled across the front of these race cars.
Yeah.
And we are getting that more and more common every week now.
Yeah,
and it looks like these cars look like they're coming straight out of 94.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they are, the way that we are having this tire fall off, and these tires are just finally giving us the product that is going to lead to good racing. Now, I hope it continues, and I hope it carries over a little bit to Martinsville. Yeah. It's going to be hard to do.
I know everybody's losing their minds already because they're bringing the same tire they brought in November, but November was a good race.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
It was better. It was better. I'd like to go softer again, but
Denny's already upset.
I'm not even. I'm done entertaining Denny's bitching. For God's sakes.
He'll come back up later in this episode, I think.
Yeah.
I got something about that. But I mean, I've just really been I've been happy with the product. I mean, you look at Jeff Gluck's poll that I love so much, sarcastically. But Eric, every week Jeff Gluck puts the poll out, and we're high 80s, mid 80s, low 90s. I think I hate to say it, but we were bitching for so long through the end of last year and into the off season. I think we've come out the other side just a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because I think the last couple of races have been pretty solid. And the product has kind of shown through. I've been pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yep.
Talked about Ryan Blaney blowing the motor again. Bummer for him. Again, fastest car, definitely.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I
We played
mean,
at the start of the show. Poor
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Poor Blaney. They got nothing to worry about. They're gonna win a race, but
He was on a podcast I listened to. I sent you the episode. I'm not sure if you probably did. You probably
No,
didn't
I
listen
didn't
to it. I
listen
mean,
to
there's
it.
no room. There's no room for any more
No.
podcasting. But Blaney said on a show, not a non NASCAR related podcast, but he said this week, he goes, he said basically if a meteor struck his car and ended it all on the racetrack, he said that'd probably be fit and the right way for him to go at this point. And he said that before Homestead. So I don't know if that meteor's on its way.
right.
Poor guy's just like snake bit. Man, I just
207 laps that he ran. He led 124 of them.
did they say that's his 5th ever blown motor, and he's had 2 in a row now.
I don't know.
And the first 2 he's had since 2018, I think, is what Jeff and Jordan said on the teardown.
Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Carson Hocevar as well, who was running well. Had some strategy to get himself up front, and also blew a motor. So
Did
he's the only one that saved Ryan Blaney from finishing last.
Yeah, it's true. Poor guy. Did we talk about Bowman enough?
Probably not.
I mean, what? Okay,
I thought he was winning this thing for a little while.
Yeah, it seemed like he was going to set sail, didn't it?
Yeah. Again, though, and Jamie McMurray, I think, talked about it on DBC this week, and I think they talked about it on the broadcast. Like, Larson wouldn't be as fast as everybody, and then everybody's times would slow down, but Larson's didn't.
Yeah,
like he was just consistent. So by the end of these runs, Larson wasn't going any faster. He just wasn't going any slower either.
It's the old Days of Thunder line, right?
Yeah.
Cole Trickle. I ain't going faster. Everybody else is going slower.
And I think that's the thing that hurt Bowman the most. And getting in the wall didn't help. But again, I think even without getting in the wall, I think he's toast. I think Larson gets him, just because Larson had that pass figured out so well. I just don't think there's anything that Bowman could have done. There's too many lines there, and Larson's too good there for him to hold him off.
Do you consider? I know you think Larson wins regardless, but do you consider that a choke? What would you call? What would you call what happened to Bowman there? In position to win.
I think it's a choke because it's Homestead. Like Larson hit the wall too, so I don't know that it's a choke.
Larson hits the wall.
It's a mistake, but I don't think it's a choke.
Larson hits the wall different than everybody else, and I don't understand. Like, he doesn't let the front of the car grab. It's the weirdest thing.
Here's why it's not a choke. Because Alex Bowman finished second.
Why?
If Bowman hit the wall and cut a tire down and falls out of the top 10, then yeah, it's a choke. But he finished second.
So here, let me put it another.
It was a mistake, and it cost him the race. Yes.
I think that's a choke. But here, let me put it this way. So I stumbled across an Alex Bowman fan account on the platform X, and it said, if Alex Bowman keeps having races just like this, I mean, this is exact words. If he keeps having races just like this, he is going to win the championship.
Okay.
And I said,
no.
Hold on. You have to be better.
You have to win to win the championship, all but one year.
That's right. You can't give a race away at the end and win a championship.
Yeah. No, I
completely out of
that's BS.
Now I understand that's an Alex Bowman fan account,
right.
So take that for what it's worth. But again, like,
second place consistently isn't going to do you anything when there's people like Kyle Larson in the field.
But you know what's funny is I saw that comment, and kind of what I thought about was, okay, we've had this conversation with Alex Bowman so many times. Like, when is he going to take that step? And you know how you and I always joke, like, Alex Bowman could win 10 more races or he could win none, and we wouldn't be surprised, right? That's what we always say.
Right.
That's the I think what we saw on Sunday is a differentiator from where Alex Bowman is right now, and where even somebody like Joey Logano is.
Yeah.
Where you actually have the opportunity. You got yourself in the position. All you have to do is finish the job. And it's easy for me to sit here and say, finish the job.
Right.
Because you got Kyle Larson bearing down on you. So, you know, I I hate that I'm calling it, this is a choke job. It is. But again, I think Larson probably beats anybody in that spot. So it's hard, man, because you've got this great driver chasing you down. I get that part of it. But the fact that you didn't even get to battle him for it, you know, there wasn't even a chance. You didn't even get a chance to fight because you took yourself right out of it. That's where you gotta. That's the difference between choking and not choking for me. Like if you get beat straight up, you get beat. But this was a mistake.
1.205 seconds was the margin of victory.
Yes.
You would argue that Bowman was probably a half a second ahead of Larson.
Well, the gap was closing, right? It was down. I kept watching the time, and it was down from 2 to 1.7
I don't
to
think
1.5.
you can call less than 2 seconds a choke. I just don't think you can.
Are we talking? Are we talking wins and losses or having good days? Because yeah, you had a good day.
Well, here's the thing too, though, is I don't like before Kyle Larson won the championship. Did you have a doubt that Kyle Larson was going to win a championship?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really? I didn't. I knew Kyle Larson was going to be a champion at some point. Even when he was racing for Ganassi, it was looking like he would be a champion. But how many years have you gone and watched Bowman and gone, yeah, he's going to be a champion someday?
Well, like you could say that. Okay, so we could say that about Byron right now, right?
Yeah.
Byron's the next one. But
I agree. Byron's in a different space than I don't expect Bowman to win a championship.
I agree with you there.
So a second place finish to Kyle Larson by 1.2 seconds is not a choke to me if you don't expect him to win a championship.
I know, but the thing is he.
This is how desperate we are for stuff to talk about this week, guys, because there's no news. We're going to argue about Bowman.
I'm glad we're having this conversation because I actually do like that we disagree on this because I like the fact that the ball was in your driver's hands, right? This is, you know, he's the one taking the shot at the end of the game, right? To make analogies out of this.
Yeah.
He didn't even get a chance to shoot the ball. It bounced off his foot and went out of bounds. That's where I think this is. Now, again, he had a good day. Racing is not stick and ball sports.
You have good days, you have
bad days.
You know what he did?
What did he do?
He threw a 3-point shot from the tunnel on the opposite end of the court.
And it was an amazing shot, wasn't it?
And it looked like it went in, but it missed.
But it only hit the net. But he only hit the net. But the internet doesn't know any better.
Poor Steph Curry. Anyway, yeah. Well, you had the basketball analogy I had to bring in.
He could make it. He could make it if he wanted to.
I don't think it was strong enough to call it a choke, but I do think it was a mistake that cost him the race, and it cost him a playoff chance.
Well, he's having a really good points run right now.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney's going to win a race this year. Like I'm not worried about Blaney. I wouldn't be worried about Larson.
Yep.
Bowman, I can't say for sure he will.
Well, that's the thing. He's always been. That's the way Bowman's always been.
Yeah, he probably will, but he could really. I mean, he needs that win. So I'm almost arguing that it was a choke, but it wasn't a choke. I don't think it was a choke.
You know what I liked though was Jeff Gordon after the race. You know, stood up for him because I think he knows. And Jeff,
did you see Gordon's response though when he hit the wall was like, "Oh, of course!" Like it looked like freaking did it again. Like it was such a disgust of just like.
Well, and everybody's got Alex Bowman leaving that seat at some point.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think he's the fourth best driver on his own team. I think, I don't know. That number 9 car, right? He's having some.
Yeah, but that guy ain't going anywhere.
But yeah, he's fine.
That guy is the Dale Jr. of Hendrick right now. He is.
Yeah.
It's the merchandise. It's the sponsorship.
He's fine.
He ain't going anywhere.
He's fine. He's got a championship.
Bowman needs to win to keep the ride.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of pressure around that guy.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody hears the whispers. He won at Chicago.
I honestly feel he's proven himself enough to where he shouldn't be on the chopping block.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like
when a guy like, and I'm comparing him to William Byron, and William Byron obviously has had some success lately.
Larson and Byron really skew the averages for that team.
Yeah, but
they win a lot.
When Hendrick is so keen on giving people opportunities to improve, I don't know. I feel like Bowman has proved himself to keep that ride. But again, like you said, you got a superstar like Kyle Larson there. anybody looks bad, and
Well, yeah.
there's a lot to live up to.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want in your fourth driver? He is a great partner to his sponsors. They love him. The team loves him. He's well spoken. He's not going to get in trouble.
The best thing that Alex Bowman has going for him right now is that Connor Zilic is a Trackhouse driver.
Yep.
Because if he was a Hendrick driver, I'd be nervous.
Oh, and yeah. Well, Day's the one you got to watch out for.
That's
I think,
true.
Next.
That's
the
true.
other one. Yeah.
That's where we see how much pull Bowman has in the organization.
Yeah,
Or not
so we'll
Bowman,
see.
Larson.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, he might be Larson's replacement because who knows how long that guy keeps racing.
That's true. That's
the other
true.
thing. But,
yeah. Larson, I could see stepping away early.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just
Because
that,
he's
that kind of type of guy.
great, man. He won the high limit race. Flies in and wins 2 out of 3 in NASCAR. So yeah, he's doing fine. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. I think
He's going to attempt the sweep again at Bristol. So
I'm glad you said that too. Just more more and more respect to Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
again, who
he
doesn't
did it
get talked about
twice.
enough. He's done it twice, and Larson, look how good of a weekend Larson had. And how much luck he had just to win 2 races, and then the one, like you said, the one that he dominated, he didn't win.
I'm really was bummed for him. I really wanted to see him sweep it.
I mean, Kyle Busch has to be happy he's still the only one to do it.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, I know it's got to be just, I don't know. I think people are starting to forget how great Kyle Busch really is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even say was, because I still think he is.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
yeah, the only one to do it. It's going to be a while till we see it again. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if Larson can do it.
Need to get him out of that 8 car in 35th freaking place. Jesus.
Oh my God, all day.
Yeah. It's bad. 21st, finished 21st. That's a good running position for him in this race.
Somehow finished 20. Yeah, and Ty Gibbs again.
Yeah.
Way back there. That was a bad day for a
mess.
couple of guys. Yeah.
Not a bad day for Bubba Wallace. 3rd place finish for Bubba. We played
He
the
was
audio.
happy with his run.
Played the audio at the beginning of him claiming he had a flat tire going into turn 3 on the last lap, screwing with his team a little bit. Said he blew it, But yeah, I don't know. Good run for. I mean, Bubba's good here. He's a sleeper here at Homestead.
Well, these are the tracks he likes. He likes Homestead. He likes Kansas. He likes even Darlington a little bit.
Yep.
Those kinds of tracks. He'll run Michigan. He runs good at Michigan. So
Freddie was talking a lot on, or maybe it was Freddie or Jamie. The only podcast I really listened to much of this week was DBC. So sorry for all the references, but they were talking about how Bubba's mindset has changed having a kid, and that he doesn't wear everything on his shoulder quite as much as he used to. And he's more willing to let a bad weekend go versus just destroying himself over it. And that's good for Bubba. If he can do that, if he can stop, if he can get out of his own head, he can do well. He's a good driver. So yeah,
I think he's in a better place now.
Yeah.
Just settled,
Yep. How about Chase Briscoe? 4th place finish for him, finally turning some things around there.
Yeah, this is, I think, more to come from them.
I think so.
I think this was a good day. Just you got to put a couple of these together.
Yeah. Denny Hamlin had that P up front for a bit. 15 laps out front. He looked good too. It's a Denny Hamlin style of track. Can't quite do what Larson does, but tire management, it's good for Denny.
Top 5. Yep.
Yeah. Chris Buescher strong again.
AJ Allmendinger, who I gleefully talked about on last week's podcast.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit for that.
And then I didn't put him in. I had him in my fantasy lineup, took him out like a fool.
Yeah.
I didn't trust myself. He's really good there. That's pretty awesome.
Justin Haley got a top 10 finish. Good run for him.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, and I think he was the benefactor. A couple of guys were the benefactor of the William Byron penalty on pit road.
Yeah.
Which kind of took him out of contention, or he would have been in the top 5. But again, rallied back.
Austin Dillon, top 15 for him.
Yeah, he was good. He was good over the course of the race too, which was weird.
Yeah,
he does this.
Noah Gregson was good, and he's good here as well. But he ran well today during the race.
He was in my lineup all week too. Yeah. He was top 8 for most of the day.
Yeah,
I would say he had the similar day to Tyler Reddick and just didn't get the finish.
Yeah,
but yeah, had a really good day.
Yeah,
the Penske cars, a lot of the Fords were actually pretty good outside of Keselowski. I would say the Fords were pretty solid. Cindric had a really good day, a lot of stage points.
Well, both Logano and Barry got put in the same hole in the same pit stop.
Yeah, That's the pit stop that I thought ruined Larson's day.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
they
know. I
ripped
was
the
a little
whole-
worried about it too.
Yeah, but it didn't seem to affect that 5 car too bad. They said they were going to patch it, and they never did. They just kept racing it. So
Yeah.
must have been totally fine.
Anything-
Barry was top 5 for a while.
Yeah.
He was having a good run again. Had to rally back. Barry, man, he might be in line for a few wins. I think you talked about that
Yeah,
last week.
I think.
but yeah,
I think
it's
he's going to
like-
be a threat.
I was watching him a little bit more closely this week, and I was like, God dang, Josh Berry.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really good for that car. I think he's going to be a long-standing driver for that car as well.
I hope so. I hope that's a good 8-year arrangement or so.
Yep. Do you got your all-time wins list up, James? Because
I can get that for you.
30th victory for Kyle Larson. That's a pretty big deal, pretty big milestone. I don't remember who tweeted it, but I saw a tweet that he claimed that if they were still running the old car, he'd have 50 wins by now. Did I hear that correctly?
Possibly.
Says this car is it's that tough to win in this car, but
Oh man. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah,
You
go
ready to
for
hear
it.
the names he's around?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, 30, he doesn't break a tie with anybody. He's still 30th all time with his 30 wins.
Dang.
That's nice synergy there. He's 2 wins ahead of, here, listen to these Hall of Famers. Carl Edwards, Rex White, and then he's 4 ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dang.
Next up for Larson to catch, I will go, you know what? Just to make it fun, I'm going to go to 36 wins.
Okay.
Okay, so these drivers are all within 36. Dale Jarrett, Fireball Roberts, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, and then this is where it gets fun, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski,
Interesting.
all at 36 or lower.
Nice.
So that's who's next on Larson's list as he climbs the ranks. Probably will catch Kurt Busch this year. I don't know. Joey, I expect to win. Brad, I thought I would expect to win. He's been out to lunch.
372 Cup Series starts, and I believe, did I not see a stat that he's made it to 30 at a younger or less time than Kyle Busch did?
Less starts, I believe.
Okay.
Less starts. I don't think he was a younger age. Remember, he
32,
missed
32
he missed
years
a
old
season.
is all that Kyle Larson is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's not even in his prime yet, James.
Man, I know. It's fun. So if he gets to 40 wins, that puts him 20th all time. That's Mark Martin. 50 wins puts him 1 ahead of Tony Stewart and tied with Ned Jarrett at 14th.
He's
in
got
junior
20. He's
class.
got 20 more wins in him.
He's got to get to 60. He's got to double his total to get into the top 10.
30,
That's
30,
Kevin.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kevin Harvick.
yeah. Interesting. Let's see. Only his second victory at Homestead, but again, remember we only race here twice a year, or once a
Yeah,
year. I
and
mean,
He was very generous in 2016 as well.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shane Van Gisbergen, highest finishing rookie back in 32nd. William Byron is your points leader, 36 points over Kyle Larson. You know what's funny is nowhere in NASCAR stats do they put who had the fastest lap.
Oh, it was Bubba Wallace.
Was it Bubba Wallace? Okay.
Yep.
There you
Yep.
go. I noticed that CW
NASCAR's app does it.
the CW has it in their ticker, and that's about it. Fox doesn't
Didn't we
have it
say
in their
that
ticker.
nobody was going to care?
Yeah.
Nobody
They'll
was going to
care.
care.
They'll care when the playoffs are here.
Jeez. Yeah, I did see it. This was one of the first times I've noticed it. They got NASCAR.com's app has a little clock next to it,
Nice.
so you get that bonus point.
Touch on the Xfinity real quick. Justin Allgaier steals a win
Good win for
instead of the other way around. Good win for him. Only led 21 laps on the day, but gets the race that Kyle Larson dominated thanks to Sam Mayer. Austin Hill, strong run for him. 3rd place finish. Continues to be good. Sheldon Creed looked really good in this one too. Top 5 for him. Jesse Love up there. I wanted to touch on something here with the Xfinity race, James, because CW did their first remote broadcast of the year. You were critical on Twitter. I was not critical publicly, but we all know how my thoughts on it.
Oh, I was critical of multiple networks this week and got my you know what handed to me.
Yeah?
That's okay. Oh yeah.
What did you think of CW's remote broadcast?
I'm not a fan of any remote broadcast. I'll keep it simple. I don't like it.
I thought they did better than Fox does.
Well, I mean, Eric,
If they wouldn't have told me they weren't there, I don't. There was one moment where Adam Alexander, the caution came out, and you could tell they didn't know why.
Eric, you said it was better than Fox.
I know that doesn't say much.
I mean, that's
I know.
the bar's on the floor, man. It's below the floor.
So I'll reference Jamie McMurray again, and of course he's tooting the network drum or horn, whatever. Get the phrase right. Okay, Michael Scott. Anyway, but he referenced that he said the studio they built in Charlotte is amazing. He said the monitors there are better than what they have at the track. When you're at the track, he said, you're looking at the monitors anyway. So he said, you don't get a lot of extra benefit from being there versus being in the studio, if any. And he said that, you can watch out the window and you can call things out the window, but then the viewers are like, why the hell aren't you showing me what you're talking about out the window? Because the camera's not there. So I don't know. He sold it pretty well to me. I still would prefer to be at the track. He said that, fans think that they want to be at the track. And he said that's not necessarily the case. Again, because of all the tools they have at the studio, but I don't know. I will say that, he talked about doing the road course at Coda, and he said they were at the track for that. And he said it's completely pointless. He says you can see the cars for 2 seconds and that's it. And I agree with him there. I mean, there's remote broadcast at a road course makes total sense. But I don't know as long as they have people that are telling them what's going on and they're not missing stuff because they're not there. I don't care that much, but I still would prefer them to be there. And he said they will be at the track for all the prime races, and some other ones throughout the year. But it sounds like they're going to be doing the remote thing quite a bit. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. CW, I tell you what, NASCAR cashed that check pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, and I think I would argue that this decision, all this stuff, you're totally right. The difference between IndyCar and NASCAR right now is that NASCAR made the best move for the money, and IndyCar made the best move for IndyCar, and that's the difference, or for the IndyCar fan, because IndyCar had say in their demands, and their demands were met, whereas NASCAR is just like, as long as the check clears and you're giving us the most money, we're good.
Yep, and that's why Fox got their deal, and NASCAR saw more money from other areas and took those deals.
Yeah, I mean, and it's sad. I'm very disappointed with that. I'm disappointed with the fact that IndyCar had issues with some of the Fox stuff from the first broadcast, and they fixed it. Like they just said, let's change this, and it's fixed. And yes, I know part of that is because IndyCar is running the broadcast, and Fox is basically just airing it. But still.
I appreciate that the CW is trying to put a professional product out there. It's just the stuff around the edges with the CW really bothers me.
Oh my God, the fact that it's not. I had somebody ask me that they've said downstate you can't even get the race because they're showing other crap.
You should have an app available, especially if there's going to be an issue with any of that stuff.
Well, and I noticed too, like if I travel, I watch it on YouTube TV. If I'm outside of my area, I can't watch it.
You got to make it accessible for the fans if you're going to do it this way.
Yeah.
Fox, like if you have a subscription to cable or whatever, Fox, you just go to the app. Like you said, Eric, if you're out, go to the Fox Sports app. You can watch the race live.
None of them are perfect though, because Fox doesn't have a good streaming service.
No.
NBC has Peacock, which is excellent, but they don't put the race on Peacock half the time. So
yeah, none of them are perfect, but you still gotta. And again, this is, I hate to say it like this, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it this way. It's just the Xfinity series. I don't worry about it as much, but
yeah, I do, because I think that it's more important that the Xfinity series has a strong showing than the Truck series.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do.
The Xfinity series is a gateway.
I will say that the CW Xfinity series is better than Fox's Truck series.
Yes,
it is.
Oh, 100%.
But you got to make sure that especially for those people who are Xfinity fans or who don't want to miss any of the racing, you've got to make sure that you just got to make sure you're available.
I will say I enjoyed the drivers only broadcast for the Truck Series race this weekend, just because I didn't have to listen to Jamie Little in the booth.
Poor Jamie Little.
I was happy about that.
Getting a lot of strays lately.
I like Jamie Little a lot, but she's not booth material. I'm sorry, she's just not.
I know.
Xfinity Series 27th victory for Justin Allgaier in 477 NASCAR Xfinity Series.
He's got a little bit of a heater here with his championship, couple of wins.
Oh yeah, he's going to be a threat.
Living the dream.
Nick Sanchez, highest finishing rookie in 8th. Justin Allgaier is your points leader, 29 points over Sam Mayer. So a lot of JRM cars up towards the front. So
Yep.
no complaints there. Truck Series, I mean, the whole story was the spin and win with Larson.
Spin and the win. Yep.
And Corey Heim with the truck shutting off. That sucks for Corey, man.
I know. We've had that issue happen a handful of times in the history of NASCAR.
Yeah, it sounds like there was a wire burning up or something that was
Yeah.
melting, and that was what was happening to get hot and shut it off. But Ross Chastain was in this race too. He was noticeable a couple times, but I mean, this was a Kyle Larson show for sure.
Kyle Larson show. Yeah.
100% Kyle Larson show.
Didn't Marcos Ambrose famously lose a race at Homestead because his car shut off? Well, he was trying to save fuel.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
He shut off he stalled at Sears Point.
Yeah, and he couldn't keep up with the pace car.
Yeah,
and
couldn't refire and he lost a bunch of spots.
It cost him the race.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll happen from time to time, but that's okay. Larson's in the field, man. Take what you can get.
4th victory in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for Kyle Larson out of 16 starts.
Not bad. Not quite Casey Kane numbers, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Corey Heim. No, I don't care about Corey Heim. Connor Mosack was the highest finishing rookie in 19th. Corey Heim's points leader, 8 points over Ty Majeski in the Truck Series.
There you go.
There you go. And let's talk about the news. All right, we're done with that.
Yeah, it's paint scheme week.
Yeah, we're seeing paint schemes coming. I guess we can jump into the Chase Elliott thing now. We can do black flags really quick.
The Chase Elliott car is horrible.
My black flag this week is Hendrick Motorsports and the Chase Elliott paint scheme that is supposed to be a replica or a throwback to Ken Schrader's Kodiak car back in the day. But none of the colors are right. They've got a pinstripe between the colors that's not accurate. The front of the car is not accurate. It's just bad. Just bad.
Yeah.
And the number's not the right color.
You can tell Lefty had nothing to do with this one.
No.
I know Lefty does work for Hendrick, but there's no way. There's no way.
It really looks like Universe came to him and said, hey, here's a paint scheme. And Hendrick's like, oh, is there a car that kind of looks like that we can call it a throwback of? That's what it feels like.
I told you before the podcast. I think now the Xfinity cars are doing a good job.
Yeah.
Junior Motorsports does a good job. I mean, we've got the 3 doors down throwback.
That 3 doors down throwback is the winner.
Oh my God.
As soon as I saw that thing announced, it was over.
Yeah. No, I had an era, Eric. I don't know if you know this, but 3DD and NASCAR were neck and neck. That was my jam back in the day. When that car ran, big deal for me. Big deal.
I had 2 opportunities in my life to see them for free and didn't go either time.
I went and saw them twice.
I had the opportunity to see them at Michigan when Tony Stewart ran that car.
Oh my God.
And I
what
didn't
were
go.
you doing?
Yeah.
I love that band. They famously, the music video for one of my favorite songs that they've done was with Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart.
There you go.
It's good. Yeah, good one. Anyway, they are doing a great job, but I think the Cup Series might be done. With
Yeah,
throwbacks.
I think it's time to throw the throwback away.
I hate that I love the throwbacks, but this is not
It
great.
doesn't work on the car with the numbers moved. It just
I
doesn't.
know.
That's the problem.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't argue with you.
I know. It just bums me out. Even the Denny Hamlin one, which looks okay. It's a throwback to Carl Edwards. Not great.
Any black flags for you, James, this week?
Oh boy. Well, we talked about the CW. What did I have? I knew I had one.
See, that's why I write notes down ahead of time. So I
know we didn't go through the new. We didn't go through the news. I'm all thrown off.
Right.
No, I think I'm good actually.
How about
I'm good.
How about checkered flags this week?
Checkered Flags. Shout out to everybody who. This was a story that kind of broke out after we recorded last week. But the fires in Homestead.
Yeah.
Did you have this as a checkered
No,
flag?
I didn't. That's a good one. I
But
forgot all about it because it was such a
and-
non-factor over the weekend.
Yeah, first responders and everybody who got those fires under control before the race weekend. There was I'm not going to say I was afraid that we were going to lose the race this weekend, but I had a flashback to Atlanta 2020 when we had to pack up the cars and go home.
Yeah. Well, we did
That
it. We
definitely
did it.
crossed my mind.
First Daytona night race was moved too because of wildfires down in Florida.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's a good one. Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, that was geez, man. Our buddy Todd was there. He was sending pictures. I was like, holy crap, dude,
Yeah.
those fires are real close.
It was close to the track. Pretty crazy.
Man.
Yeah, good work for all those guys getting that out and keeping everybody safe. You don't want to have a race, when there's a bunch of emergency vehicles running around blocking stuff off either. So,
Yeah.
Either way, even if it didn't affect the track, it would have affected the weekend. So,
Yep.
good to see that move. Good one, James.
Yeah.
My shout out or checkered flag this week, shout out, whatever. The Cars Tour is back this weekend, back in action. And in conjunction with that, I wanted to give a shout out to Flow Racing, or Flow Sports in general. If you don't have a Flow subscription as a race fan and you like local short tracks and stuff like that, man, you are missing out. It's I think it's like $150 for the year or something like that. But you literally every night there is racing, even through the winter. You can watch all kinds of local tracks. Berlin Raceway is one that's on there. The Cars Tour, all the races are on there. And not only that, but there's so many other sports as well. I'm a hockey fan. The AHL now and ECHL, all their games are on Flow. So you can watch all those for free or no extra cost. There's so many things, college sports stuff. It's really cool. So Flow Racing, check it out if you haven't. The Chili Bowl's on there when they run that. The High Limit series is on there. It's just good stuff. So
Yeah,
Flow Racing.
Larson's been pushing quite a bit of sponsorship out for them, or with them, I should say.
Yeah, and Junior pointed out on his podcast today with the Cars Tour, if you really want to support the Cars Tour, the next best thing to go in and sit in the stands, which for us up here, there's not any opportunities to go watch them close, is to flip on Flow Racing. They get the points on there, and that'll help the series as well. So just helps with that exposure, and that's a great series. That Cars Tour is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So good stuff. So there you go.
Eric, I remembered what I wanted to Black Flag, and it was myself. It was me.
Oh, okay. I'm always will make time for this then.
Yep.
Shoot, if we'd have forgotten it, we'd have come back on and recorded a special episode just for it.
I know. But so I took a jab at Fox. I never really don't take a jab at Fox, but Fox's IndyCar coverage blacked out.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's not a surprise. It's Fox. And somebody on Twitter yelled at me that it's not a Fox problem. It was the track that was having power issues, which it's still Fox's fault. I still said, you know what? You were right. I was hasty.
You know what was positive about that is that Fox then put the NASCAR race on
Fox.
Fox in front of the IndyCar audience and exposed them to real racing for a little while, which was great. On one of our best tracks.
Did you see the drop off between Fox's first race for IndyCar and their second race?
No.
It was a 50% decrease.
Oh my God. Well, Thermal Club sucks. I'm sorry. And I don't pay enough attention. It must have been a points race this year because last year was that $1 million race that nobody cared about.
Yeah. I wanted so badly to tweet at Jeff Gluck or just be like, hey, Jeff, how about those commercials you were telling me about that you love so much? But I can't do that. It's not nice.
Thermal Club's a bad race. First of all, the IndyCar series, its bread and butter is ovals, and they don't race on hardly any ovals anymore. That was the series. It started on ovals. There were no road courses in the Indy Racing League when it started. I get that it's dangerous. The cars are much safer now with the halo and windscreen and all that. It's time to get them back on some ovals.
At least Michigan.
Yeah. Oh man, I would be there in a heartbeat.
Dude, if IndyCar went back to Michigan, people would be so excited.
I would be there in a heartbeat.
Oh my God. I feel like I missed something not going to those races as a kid.
I know, me too. Like I'm plus the crowds used to be wild back then too. I remember hearing stories about the campgrounds. They're a lot wilder than the Cup crowds.
It's real race fans back then.
Yeah. Speaking of real race fans, James, we go to a real racetrack this week on a real short track.
Let's go.
Martinsville Speedway. All three series in action once again. The Cookout 400 on Sunday, 3 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Marine Corps 250, Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, by the way, on the CW, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The Boys and Girls Club of the Blue Ridge 200, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Love some night racing at Martinsville. So we got two races that will end under the lights. Cup race will probably be dusk-ish, right? 3 o'clock?
Yeah, it should be duskish, yeah.
So, and yeah, I love under the lights at Martinsville. The problem with Martinsville is they they run it so early and so late in the year that it's cold when it's dark.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
You
get first pick this weekend, James. So go for it. And I'm pretty
You know what?
comfortable that you're not going to pick my pick.
you know what? I'm going to go against fate because it seems like he's snake bit. But I'm taking Ryan Blaney.
It's a good one.
He's got to win, and what better way to get some feel good back than to go to a place where he's really good and wins a lot and gets it done. Ryan Blaney.
Nice. In the last 6 races here at Martinsville.
Oh, you're going back 6 races.
Well, 6 races. That's all the races in this car, right? Because we've run 3 years in this car.
3 a year. Yep.
So last 6 races here.
Mm-hmm.
This driver has 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s.
Oh,
He has struggled to start the season,
I know who you're taking.
but he is moving in the right direction. He's good here, and now he's in a JGR car. So I'm going Chase Briscoe as my pick this weekend.
You go. Yep. Martin Truex Jr. was good here in that car.
Yeah.
For a little bit. Yeah.
Yep, they'll have some good notes, and Briscoe's good. So
Yeah.
this is a Chase Briscoe style of track.
He will be fine here. He
Yeah.
will do a good job.
You put him in a JGR
have-
car now. That's good stuff.
Just have clean days, Chase. It'll happen for him.
Yeah.
Just have some clean
Oh
days.
yeah, he's got wins coming this year. I'm not
I
worried
thought for
about
sure
him.
you were going to take Jolo, but nope.
No,
That's okay.
not Joey. Nah.
When you said bad start to the season, I was like, yeah, Joey's up there. Although he's led some laps, but not good finishes.
We can talk about fantasy league this week, James. I was close.
You had a shot at it, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, when Blaney blew up and Byron had issues, I was in big trouble.
I think
so that cost me.
I think Blaney hurt me. I think that probably was what cost me, if I remember correctly.
Blaney cost me a good 50 points because I had him in the top. He was in the top 5, and I had him in my picks, so I lost everything.
Yeah, I believe I had him chosen as my bonus, and I'm pretty
Wasn't
sure
good.
I had him.
But you were right there. Smoking Grill Racing gets the win. Eric, you were second. Ranger, the 3-time champ, he was
Oh, I take
third.
that
And
back.
Todd came back, finished 4th.
I pulled him out, actually. I did not have him in my...
Yeah.
And I had Christopher Bell, but I put him in the garage. And Josh Berry, I think, was the one that hurt me the most.
Yeah, Bell. Yeah, I had Bell in my lineup too. I was going to try to ride the hot hand, but that didn't work out well for me this week either.
I had Larson, Hamlin, Reddick, and then Byron hurt too.
Yeah, Byron rallied back, but yeah, he was off to a better day than what he would have had.
Yeah.
Overall standings, it's Ranger, Smoking Grill, Hendrick Flair is 3rd. I am 4th. It's still pretty close. Eric, you are 9th.
Yeah. Stupid 9th. Whatever.
Stupid 9th.
Whatever.
I mean, I'm where I usually am. You're where you usually are. We're same thing. It's just for Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, right?
So that's Fantasy League.
You're on the right end of the field at least.
Ugh. Struggling to get a start to the season. These drivers keep having issues. It's bothering me.
Yeah. Before we go, do we want to talk about police escorts and Richard Childress?
Actions Detrimental was so funny, man.
If you haven't heard, Denny talked about Action Detrimental, and apparently they had a police escort out of the track. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And Childress,
parade.
Richard Childress decided he was not waiting for the escort and literally tore the side off of a JGR vehicle, squeezing himself in a line. And James asked me how I felt about my ride with Richard Childress at Michigan International Speedway in the pace car, where we did 130 miles an hour. And all I will say is that I know for a fact that Richard Childress was told not to go that fast. So he doesn't listen to anybody.
If there was one car owner in the garage that would do that, he's the one that would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like you put the post in, and I didn't know what you were talking about, and I went on Twitter, and it took me a while to find it.
Oh, okay, good.
Because it wasn't all over the place.
I'm glad I put you on a goose chase.
Yeah, and when I saw it, there was like no shock whatsoever. It's like, oh man, that sounds like Childress.
Yeah, you've experienced him driving firsthand, and I wanted to bring it up on the pod because you've been a passenger.
Yeah, no surprise. No surprise.
I love
whatsoever.
that you were told before you did the ride around that he was not supposed to go that fast. And
Yeah.
you did it anyway.
Yeah, I'm
I've told you
pretty
the
sure
story-
he's the reason they don't go fast anymore. I'm pretty sure he got it shut down.
I've told you the story that I heard Marty Smith talk about with Jimmy Johnson. Didn't I? Did I tell you about this? Do you remember this? I'm going to say it. I'll repeat it anyway.
Yeah, go for it.
Jimmy Johnson was doing media ride-arounds at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in a stock Chevy Impala. If I remember this 100% correctly, I'm going to do my best. But Marty Smith was riding as Jimmy Johnson was driving, and Jimmy said, "Hey, Marty, let's really see what we can do," and was going so fast through the corners that the tire rolled off of the rim. And they had to park the car and get it towed back
That's awesome.
because Jimmy was going so hard in that stock Impala that he rolled the tire. The tire came right off the rim.
Well, that's when we were going around Michigan. We had to slow down. I think we did like 70 or 60 or something like that in the turns. And Chiller said the tires would blow out if they went faster than that. So,
Oh my God, he doesn't know.
my understanding was they had to change the tires on the car after the ride-alongs on the pace car because he wore them out. But sorry, I was distracted as I was scrolling through X to see if there were any updates because I stumbled across a picture from Chad Finley of him racing the Rosebrook Racing #1 car at Owasso Speedway with the caption
nice.
"Race Season Loading." So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, Chad
I
Finley
stumbled
did
across-
some good stuff at Owasso this year in the late model.
I stumbled across somebody on Twitter saying WTF happened to Chase Elliott. This was the same sponsor that brought the Dale Jr. throwback last year. I'm like, oh, that's a good call.
Harrison's on the 51 Jeremy Clements car is going to have a Harry Gant throwback. It looks like
Gigantic throwback. Yep.
like that. That's a good one.
Yep. Oh, Eric, another fun stat I saw. I wanted
Yeah.
to mention this since we're grasping for things to talk about right here at the end. Jimmy Johnson started one race this season. He is ahead in points of Cody Ware.
So I will say again, I listened to DBC this week. Tommy Baldwin, which I have no idea why he's on a podcast hosted by spotters because he's not a spotter. But anyway, Tommy Baldwin said that the deal with Cody Ware this year is there's tons of pressure on him. First of all, because he's the only car in the stable. They don't have two cars this year. They're leasing the charter to Ryan Priest. So, but he said that their goal is, I think he said top 35 or top 30. That's their goal. And he said they didn't get there, but they learned some stuff, and Cody's doing all right. So I don't know. But
Man. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So there you go.
Jeez.
Anything else, James? I'm scrolling the X and I see nothing on X.
Nope, I think that's it. I did have a funny moment. I got a new vehicle this week, and it's a Chevy Silverado. Thank you. It has this is new to me because I only drive old vehicles.
Oh, no.
Having something new freaks me out.
Uh-huh.
But it has a gap indicator to the car in front of me, and I was so thrilled. I was driving. Eric, you know where I live. There's an airport. There's an airport and a long stretch of road.
Yeah.
I got that gap down from 3 to 0.9. I was loving every second of it. I'm like, this is so great. I feel like I'm in F1 right now, trying to get to the DRS.
Oh, jeez.
I thought you'd like that.
That's nice. I know.
Yeah.
I got a new vehicle recently too. Mine's a Ford because Chevy doesn't put CarPlay in their vehicles anymore.
Mine does.
Yours does, but yours is not brand new, right?
It is brand new.
It's
25.
brand new. They still have.
Uh-huh.
They got CarPlay in it.
Still has CarPlay. I think for the next year.
Oh,
So I
well,
still
either
got
way.
it.
Either way,
I asked about it though. I did ask about
I
it.
won't support Chevrolet getting rid of CarPlay. But anyway, yeah, mine's got all kinds of tech in it. I got a freaking heated steering wheel and stuff. You got a heated steering wheel in
I
yours,
do have a
James?
heated steering wheel. I can start
Oh,
mine with
dude.
the app.
Yep, I got that too, dude. The heated steering wheel is such an underrated thing.
It's a game changer.
Like you don't even realize how great a heated
I
steering
can
wheel is until you have
start
it.
I can start my vehicle from the flippin' moon.
Yeah,
Eric.
same here. Same here. It's amazing.
It's like
Yeah,
I've never driven a new vehicle before, so this has been great.
My other vehicle didn't have remote start. My wife's did. So every once in a while I drive hers and I could remote start and it was awesome. But I had to go like to the window and like aim it.
Yeah.
Not this one. Nope. I can just flip on the app.
There are people listening to this podcast who've had this technology for almost a decade.
I know. I know. I just my 2011 died and I had to get a new one. So
Yeah, I turned in the GMC, went with the Chevy.
nice.
And yeah, the app will tell me how it says heating your vehicle to 74 degrees. And I was like, ooh, this is nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Good stuff.
Oh God, yeah. I just wanted to tell you about the gap analysis though. That was my favorite. I was giggling like a little kid.
That's so funny.
I was like, it tells me how many seconds behind I am. This
That's awesome.
is a racer's dream.
Well, James, if people want to give you a hard time about your new vehicle, where can they do that?
Oh, hit me up, James Cush, X or Instagram.
You can find me at T-Super-Speedway on X. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. The podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, wherever the hell you listen to us. Just keep listening, subscribe. New episodes each and every week. We'll be back next week for Martinsville, break things down, and get you prepared for the next one. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.